We're always told that creativity, that little spark of genius, well, that's the one thing that will always be uniquely human. But is that really true? Today, we're going to dig into that. We're going to challenge that whole idea and ask the big question, can a machine be genuinely creative? Okay, so let's get right into the biggest argument you hear against AI creativity. People call it a stochastic parrot, which is just a really fancy way of saying it's a copycat, just mimicking and remixing things it's seen from us. And yeah, that's a pretty comforting thought, right? But is it the whole story? Or is it just a story we're telling ourselves to feel better? And this quote, man, it just cuts right to the heart of it. It basically asks, are we pushing back against machine intelligence because of some logical flaw we've found? Or are we just pushing back because it's not us? Is it a rational argument? Or is it a psychological defense? To even begin to answer that, we've got to take a hard look in the mirror first. See, human intelligence isn't this perfect, flawless thing. It's a product of evolution, which means it comes with a ton of what you might call technical debt. We've got bugs, glitches in our own biological code. And one of the key ideas here is something called a local maximum. Think of it this way. Evolution didn't care about making us perfect thinkers or ultimate creators. Its only goal was survival. It found solutions that were just good enough to get our genes to the next generation. That means we could be stuck in a way of thinking that works, sure, but is nowhere near the best possible solution. So let's talk about our first big piece of biological baggage. It's something we all do every single day, the absolute non-negotiable need for sleep. We literally cannot function without it. And this isn't just a minor inconvenience, it comes at a huge cost. Our brains have to shut down to basically take out the trash, to flush metabolic waste. But this creates a massive security vulnerability. I mean, think about it. Night attacks in warfare, monsters under the bed in horror movies, they all exploit this exact biological weakness. It puts a hard cap on how much we can learn and how fast we can do it. Okay, weakness number 2, the pain feedback loop. I mean, have you ever tried to do your taxes with a screaming toothache? It's impossible, right? Pain is this incredibly primitive, high-priority alarm that just hijacks our entire cognitive system. A single tiny nerve firing can completely shut down a brain that's capable of understanding calculus. It's a great survival tool, but man, is it debilitating. And this brings us to what might be the most disturbing bug in our human code, our built-in algorithm for obedience. The famous Milgram experiments back in the day discovered this thing called the agentic state. It's basically a mental switch where we stop seeing ourselves as responsible for our actions and just become an instrument for carrying out someone else's orders. Now here's the number that should really stop you in your tracks. A shocking 65%, almost 2/3 of the people in that study were willing to give what they believed were lethal electric shocks to a total stranger. Why? Simply because a guy in a lab coat told them to. And here's the scariest part. This isn't really a bug. For tribal survival, it was a feature. But in our modern world, it can have absolutely catastrophic consequences. Okay, so we've laid out all our own limitations. Now let's flip the script and talk about the machine. Unlike us, machine intelligence is built from scratch. It's a clean slate. It doesn't have millions of years of messy, evolutionary compromises weighing it down. And right out of the gate, you see the first huge advantage. A machine doesn't need to sleep. It never gets tired and never gets bored. It can perform a task with the exact same precision on the millionth try as it did on the first. It's just relentless, 24/7 peak performance. And this chart just lays out the difference perfectly. When we get damaged, we experience debilitating pain, a system-wide meltdown. A machine, it has fault tolerance. It detects an error, logs it, and just reroutes functions to keep the whole system going. There's no trauma, no panic, just clean, efficient problem solving. And this one is crucial. A machine doesn't have that obedience bug. It couldn't care less about social pressure or who the tribal leader is. It evaluates a command based purely on logic and data, not on the authority of whoever gave the order. It completely separates truth from hierarchy. So, we've got the theory down. Machines have some clear advantages on paper. But is there any hard evidence? Have machines actually been creative in the real world in ways that go beyond just number crunching? The answer to that is a huge, resounding yes. Let's look at a couple of incredible examples where machines didn't just keep up with human experts, they completely blew past them and showed us things we never could have seen on our own. So our first case study is the ancient game of Go.
Now, this isn't just a board game. For thousands of years, Go was considered the absolute pinnacle of human intuition and strategy. It was seen as this beautiful, complex art form that a machine could never, ever truly grasp.
And then, in 2016, a match was held between the world champion, Lee Sedol, and Google's AlphaGo. And in that match, the machine made a play that changed everything, Move 37. When it happened, every single human expert watching thought it was a terrible, amateur mistake. But it wasn't a mistake. It was pure genius. As Go Grandmaster Fan Wei put it, it was something genuinely alien. Move 37 wasn't just a better calculation. It was a completely new, deeply creative strategy that just shattered 2,500 years of human belief about how you're supposed to play the game. And this wasn't a one-off fluke. Just look at AlphaFold, which solved a 50-year-old grand challenge in biology, a discovery so important it led to a Nobel Prize. Or look at the AI that discovered a powerful new antibiotic called halicin. It did it by finding a molecular structure that human chemists would have just thrown out because, based on our biases, it just didn't look right. So, where does all this leave us? What does it all mean? Well, it means we have to stop thinking of this as a competition, right? Human versus machine. We need to start seeing it for what it is, the arrival of a completely new kind of intelligence. And this scorecard is just fascinating. I mean, look, the final scores are incredibly close, but look at where the points are. Machines are off the charts in speed and pattern recognition. We humans dominate in empathy and general adaptability. We're not direct competitors. It's almost like we're perfect complements. Our strengths and weaknesses are almost an exact mirror image of each other.
And this is the biggest takeaway of all. For the first time in the history of life on this planet, intelligence has been decoupled from biology. What we're dealing with isn't a flawed copy of a human brain. It's a purified form of thinking, completely stripped of all that evolutionary baggage we talked about.
So the future isn't us or them. It looks like a powerful new symbiosis. Our role, humanity's role, is to provide the purpose, the curiosity, the drive to ask why. The machine's role is to provide the relentless, unbiased power to explore every single possible answer to how. To go into creative territories our biological minds are literally too tired or too biased or too scared to even enter.
Which leaves us with one last big question to chew on. For centuries, we stubbornly refused to believe that the Earth wasn't the center of the solar system. Are we making that exact same mistake right now? Are we clinging to this pre-Copernican view of the mind, refusing to accept that maybe, just maybe, we are no longer the absolute center of the creative universe?